drive, base, save link as, and I'm gonna save it here in there too. Another file that you have here for module 1 instructions. If you open here, is a PDF, and guys, it's very well designed for you. Okay, so this over here gives you instruction by instruction of what needs to be done. Now, a lot of students take this and say, well, I don't even need to come to class because if I follow this, I'll get the project done. Is that true? Yes, you complete the project. Will you understand what you'll be doing? I don't think so, okay? Unless you do a lot of research or everything. What I'm going to be doing here is I will do this with you on the board, the entire project, and I'm going to be explaining to you what is happening on the background. Not only why we're clicking here and clicking there, okay? You guys are, if we are here today, I think you are all on the 3-year program, and you have to choose between some streams after. I don't know if you guys chose already. Building, municipal, and I think now there's a transportation stream that you can choose. If you choose municipal, you have a course on the 5th semester, which I think is the next semester. You have a course that is called CDA, and that course is where you're going to take AutoCAD Civil 3D, and you're going to spend 4 hours a week into it. So don't expect to leave this course knowing the entire software. If you think AutoCAD is big, AutoCAD Civil 3D is way bigger, it can do way more things. But it's going to give you a good sense of what the software can do. Unfortunately, we have only 1 hour a week, so I'm going to try to show you everything that I can. But if you choose civil, if you choose municipal, you see more of it, okay? If you choose the other streams, I don't think you see the software anymore. I think this will be what you see there. Sound good? So we're going to open Civil 3D metric, okay? Because we're in Canada, so we're going to use the metric for everyone.
I'm sorry, it's just so close. Yeah.
And guys, if AutoCAD crashed on you, Civil 3D is going to crash maybe 30 times more. So make sure that you're saving your work constantly. Set an alarm for every 5 minutes or whatever. Like, we need to create a habit of saving your work, okay? It's what I get, oh, I did everything, but I lost everything. I know, like, that happens in the real world too. So one of the learning outcomes of this part of the course is learn how to save your file often. Sounds good? So what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be following these instructions over here, guys. So we created the Float Seneca drive. It asks you to save these files. I didn't provide you this file yet, which is fine. We're not going to need until the end of this module, so I will provide when the time comes. But you created that. Now, I wrote here save, and there's a reason for that. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be opening our file base DWG. So check this out. I'm going to go open over here, and I'm going to open Seneca Drive and my base. Now, the interface of AutoCAD, you can close this. The interface of AutoCAD looks very similar. The Civil 3D looks very kind of similar to the regular CAD with a few differences. Yes?
Sorry, we're opening the metric or?
Metric. Okay, we're using metric for the entire course. Make sure that you open metric. And I think it's written here, metric. Guys, also feel free to record if you wish, okay? You can look at it later. Let's have a look, before we get into the project, let's have a look into the interface of Civil 3D and try to understand what we're looking at. So we have what we call here the tool space, and here's where our dynamic data is going to be implemented. There's a few details of Civil 3D that we need to know. We work pretty much with points, okay? Points are elevation points that surveyors get on the field, okay? So did you guys take surveying already? Yeah? Surveying 2? Yeah? Did you guys go with the total station, you collect a lot of data, you import the points into the software, and you see the elevation and everything? Those points we're going to be using here to be creating our road. Sound good? So in here we have our points that we're going to be using. We also have what we call points group. Point groups is actually kind of a layer for points. So let's say you imported a lot of points, but you want to separate them. You want to say, okay, these points refer to the existing ground. These points over here refer to the finished ground. You can separate points by point groups, okay? Instead of layers, we use point groups. So we're going to be learning that. Once you have points, you can create surfaces. Surfaces are 3D objects that are actually going to be able to show us how the terrain looks like. And we're going to be looking into this very detailed, just giving you an overview of what we're going to be looking at, okay? We also can have feature lines that are lines that are have 3D features, where you can design based on feature lines. And what we're going to be looking at as well are corridors. Pretty much corridors are going to tell us how our road is going to look like. So we're going to tell AutoCAD, okay, this is how the road looks like. We have 2 lanes, each lane has this many meters. We have a sidewalk, we have this type of curve, and AutoCAD will calculate how the road will look like here, okay? You will look into a topic called super elevation on the lecture portion. That means that whenever you are doing a curve, the asphalt may be tilted this way to help the car do the curve. Have you guys ever experienced this when driving? When you're doing a curve, actually the asphalt will do like this to help you do the curve. So you will learn how to do that by hand, but you'll be doing here as well. And AutoCAD will say, okay, this is the profile of the road. It will automatically calculate for you what are the changes that need to be done to make the super elevation for you. Okay? So my opinion of this software is it's very, very nice. If you actually learn it, it's something that you can make lots of money with it. There's a lot of need out there for this software and not a lot of people that are good at it. So try to make the best out of it. Sounds good? What I provided here to you is the base plan. So let's look what we have here. These lines over here is what we call grids. Okay? So these lines over here are grid lines. And here we have northing and eastern, so we can locate ourselves. Another thing that we have here are these lines. How do we call these lines over here? Contour lines. So I provided to you contour lines over here, and if I look to this in 3D, check what happens to these contour lines. They're actually 3D elevation, okay? So if I go here, select this line, and I go to the properties of this, MO, do you guys remember MO from CAD 1 or 2, if you took with me? Type MO enter or PR enter, you can have the properties over here, and you see that the elevation of this line is 220.5, okay? And if I unselect this line and I select this one over here, 220, and every line has a different elevation. Now, this is important to us because we're going to be using this to build our surface, okay? So let's go back here. This is our site. We have another few information here. This is some vegetation area that we have. This one over here is a fence that we have in here. Just some lines representing what we have. So what we need to do here? This topo over here was existing. Okay, so we have a site that this was existing and we got the data that we had already. Then we sent the surveyors out there and they did the topography of this part of the terrain. Now I don't have any elevation here. I don't know how this terrain looks like. But they provided us with a CSV file. Remember that we saved here, where's it, desktop, central drive. If I open this on Excel, I'm gonna have northing, easting, elevation, and what it refers to. So this is the point number. Point number 1 has this northing, this easting, this elevation, and this is the description of the point. What do you think OG stands for? If we were to guess. Original ground. Well, why are you guys laughing? It's original ground. Okay, so this data over here comes from original ground. What we need to do now is to take these points over here and bring into AutoCAD over here. Sounds good? How do we do that? That's what we're going to learn. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to split my screen in half over here. I'm going to do this.
For splitting screen.
What do I do for splitting screen?
Yeah.
We just drag this and touch it on the side, and you drag the other one and touch it on the side. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Once you open the base like this, guys, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be saving this file as, and you can create a new folder over here on your Seneca drive, and I'm going to call it module 1 that we're working on, module 1. And I'm going to save this with this name over here, okay? Last name dot first name dot base 1. Do you see here on the instructions on the side? Is it too small?
So our civil 3D drawing, we are saving with our last name.
Yeah, so what you did, you open base with Civil 3D, right? Now you're gonna save this as, and you're gonna save under module 1 folder, and you're gonna put your last name. In my case, it'll be menegal.column.base1. Okay, and I'm gonna save this in here as this. So now the file that I'm working is base1 with this. Now ensure the 2 space is open, and you have the 2 space open over here, and you have active drawing view. So this is all good, you don't need to change anything. Now, I do actually ask you to create some layer, okay? So open layer property manager using the layer command, and create a new layer called vtopo spot, Okay, so look what I'm gonna do. This is similar to regular AutoCAD, layers. I'm gonna layer properties. This is nothing new, you know how to create layers already, or at least you should. And you're gonna say V topo spot, and the color of this should be color number 1, that is red. I'm gonna make this layer current. How do I make a layer current in AutoCAD?
Double click.
How long have you guys not used AutoCAD for? Okay, so we'll do kind of a revision as we go, okay? Is it too fast or we're going good right now? We didn't do anything yet, so that's why we're fast. But did you guys understand? We open a file, we save the file with another name. That's everything we did so far. All the other things that I said, is kind of introductory BS that I had to tell you. Sound good? So now what we did is we opened the file, we saved with our last name and our first name, and we created a new layer called V topo spot, and we made the color red. Did everyone follow so far?
Yes.
We're good? Now I need to make this layer current. How do I make a layer current? I double click on it. Now do you see this check mark on here? This means that this layer is the current layer that I need, and I'm good to go. So I'm gonna close this. Okay? Current, yeah. And you have this check mark over here. You double click on the name of the layer.
Or right click, right?
Oh,
Double.
thank you.
Makes sense?
Hmm?
Now you're gonna close this. Now you don't have to right click and insert. Now we're gonna go here under the insert panel, and we're gonna import points and select points from file. So look here. It's very hard to look to see when the screen is divided in half. So what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna go to insert. Do you see here points from file? Yeah, I'm gonna click on this icon over here, and this is gonna ask me, you're gonna import points, which points do you want to import? And remember that I told you that the surveyors went out there, they created all that CSV file, and they brought to me with elevation or the missing. So look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna click on plus over here. I'm gonna go to my Seneca drive, and I'm gonna import that point. Why I didn't find that point? Can anyone tell me? If I say
File type.
File type here on the bottom, it's looking for TXT. What is the file that I need? CSV. So if I select here CSV, I'll see my Excel spreadsheet over here. Does that make sense? Once I've done this, I can say open, and this is where no point from information. Okay, let's do it again. I'm gonna say all files. This is the open. Maybe I cannot have this open. Let me see.
So just do it again with all files.
Yeah.
Still maintaining.
Let me see. Okay, so you have to close, if you have the Excel open, it needs to be closed. So close Excel, okay, close the Excel file, and then you can add it or work here. This portion is where students make most of mistakes. So if you didn't understand anything so far, please make sure that you understand this. If you do not, ask me as many times as you need. We need to select now the point file format, okay? So if you remember when we opened the Excel spreadsheet, we had this. We had a column with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a number here, a number here. We had elevation here, and we had description here. You guys remember? This was the sequence. So these refer to northern, these refer to eastern, these refer to elevation, and these refer to
Original plan.
description. Yeah. So in here, the point file format that we need to select is this. PNEZD. Why? First column is the point number, second column is the northern, third column is the easting, fourth column is the elevation, Z, and the last column is D for description. Now there is a very similar one over here, PENZD instead of PNEZD. Do you see this? If I select this one by mistake, my points are going to go to the wrong location because it's going to think that the first column there, it's easting instead of northern. Does that make sense? So do not select this one over here. Make sure that you select PNEZD. Okay? Do you understand why it's PNEZD? Point, P for point number, N for northern, E for easting, Z for elevation, D for description. And that's how we have our point number. Yes?
There's one exactly the same as there's one called comma delimited. And
We're going to use comma delimited, yeah.
oh,
Yeah, we're going to use comma delimited for this one over here. So we're going to have this one over here that reads point number, northern, easting, point elevation, and raw description. everything that we saw on that Excel when I opened, it's here on this table over here. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah, we're following so far? So far so good? Okay, so let me open here. So we're gonna add that point to a point group, and we're gonna create a point group called existing ground. So look, add existing points to point group, and I'm gonna create a point group by clicking here on this icon, and I'm gonna call this group existing ground. So guys, let's try to understand the theory of this. The surveyor went out there, collected the points, handed it to us a CSV file. That CSV file is going to import to AutoCAD to start working with it. We know how to import already, and we know how important it is to specify the point file format. Now that we are importing, we are also telling AutoCAD to take all of these points and put it into a point group that is called existing ground. Does that make sense? So good so far?
Sir, how did this come up?
We're gonna do this, and we're gonna say okay, and we're gonna have, if everything went right, we're gonna start seeing points over here. So let's see, you see this? And look how a big messy it looks like. What I have here, and let me make this full screen again. What I have here is points that the surveyor collected. Now look how these points look like. I have the point over here as an X. I have the point number on top, 538 is the point number. I have the elevation of the point over here, 220.92, and I have the description of the point on the bottom saying OG. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Not getting any numbers, so it's okay, wrong.
Probably your point format filing is different, but we're going to be changing that here. Okay? So you're kind of good for now. If it doesn't change by the end, try to do an RE right now. RE enter. For regen. You guys remember RE? Did it change or not?
Negative.
No? It's fine. We're going to be changing the point style right now. So these points over here, they look a bit messy, don't they? Like imagine you displaying this, you kind of cannot read any number because every number goes on top of each one. What we can do here is check these guys. If you click on points, you will see every point that is inside of this file. So if I go here and I scroll this down, I can see every point. It's a lot of points. You're not going to be checking one by one, but you can see them here. Okay, if you want to see all of the points here, you have 1,794 points in this file. If I click on this plus over here, I'm going to see 2 point groups. AutoCAD created a point group called all points, which the name already says every point inside of this file is going to be under all points. But I also have a point group created existing ground. It's the one that we created. So every point that we imported until now, it's under this existing ground point over here. Is that clear? So what is the difference between this, and this as of now? Any idea?
One group could be just labels.
Any idea what is different inside of this point group as of now? At this point, how many points do I have here? How many points do I have here? How many points do I have here? How do they differ?
They're all the same.
They're all the same as of now, okay? If I create another point group and I start adding points to that point group, this point group over here will be different than the new point group that I create. However, all points is going to be a sum of both groups. Does that make sense? So as of now, it's all the same. Cool? So let's check out the instructions, what it's asking us to do. If I open here, it's going to say in 2 space, expand the point group 3. We click on that plus, you're going to see these groups. You're going to click in properties of this, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing how do these points look like. So we can change the style of the point group. Remember that we learned in AutoCAD 1 or 2 how to do text styles, and you could change how the text would look like. It would look bigger, it would look smaller. You can do the same with point groups. So you can say, I want existing ground points to look this way. I want a future ground point, another point group, to look this way. So you can play with how you want to display the points. Is that clear? Yeah? Okay, cool. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to go here, existing ground, right click on this, and I'm going to go to properties. And this table over here is going to appear, okay? So I have 2 things that I can change here. I have the point style, which will determine how the X is going to look like, the point style is exactly the style of the point, and right now we have as an X when you see here, and you have point label style, which is how the label is going to be displayed. As of now, I'm asking to show point number, elevation, and description, and this is what we are seeing here. Point number, elevation, and description. Is that clear? What the instructions is asking us to do is, I'm not really sure, so we're going to check it again here. In the information tab, we're going to change the style to elevation only, and we're going to make a copy of the elevation only, and we're going to say elevation only 45 degrees. So look what I'm doing. I'm going to change this to elevation only, but I really don't want the elevation only, just elevation only. I want to take everything that elevation only has as a style. I want to copy into a new one and just do some small changes. So I can use a previous style to create a new one based on that one. Is that clear or no? So let's see, before I follow the instructions, you don't have to do this. Check this out. If I choose elevation only here and I say apply, look how the points look like. They look an X, and I have the elevation on. Cool? Now I don't want the elevation to be shown on horizontal. I want the elevation to be shown in 45-degree angle. So instead of me creating a point description from scratch, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to create a copy of it, and I'm just going to change the rotation of the text. Does that make sense? So look, I'm going to go properties again. I'm going to take this one over here, and I'm going to say copy current selection. Now, what is the new elevation? What is the new point style? The point label style that I want to say? As per instruction, I want to say elevation only 45 degrees. So what do I need to change here to do that? Under the layout tab, I'm going to change the text height to 1.25 and the rotation to 45 degrees. So let's go here. Layout tab, I want the point elevation over here to be changed the text height to what? 1.25. I'm going to change this to 1.25. And I'm going to change the rotation of the text to how much? 45 degrees. Let's see if it's asking to change anything else. Click OK to close this, click OK and save the drawing. So these are the only changes that I'm asking you to do. Okay, so I'm going to go here, I'm going to say apply, I'm going to say OK, I'm going to say apply. So now the point label style that I have, it's elevation only at 45 degrees. Do you agree with me that it looks a bit better? I can at least see what I'm talking about. I know the elevation of each point and I can read them. What am I trying to teach you with this is that you can do any formula that you want here. If you want to make this black, if you want to make this white, if you want to make this pink, if you want to make this blue, if you want to make this 30 degrees, if you want to make 40 degrees, whatever needs to be done, you can edit the label style within the point group. How do you do that? You select the point group that you want to edit, you say right click, properties, and you can change the point label style over here, okay? Now, I gave you the base file to you with a few of these already. When you're gonna go work in a company, they're gonna have their own styles, and you're gonna be using their styles, but you also know that you can actually edit those styles to look how you want it to look. Did everyone follow so far what I've done? So, recap. Open base file, import points from CSV file, and this is what we have, and we edit how the points look like, okay? It's very simple. Sir, I didn't follow anything, I don't know where to click. It's fine. If you read the instructions, there's pictures. Click here, click there. You cannot be lost. But I need you to understand why we're doing what we're doing. Okay? Surveyor went out there, created the points. We are taking this data, we're putting it to AutoCAD, and we're making it look like how we want it to look like. Cool? That's what we've done so far. Nothing of highways over here, just regular Civil 3D stuff and features that you can do with it. You have a question there, Hayden?
Yeah, I think I can follow the instructions. I can't go back to the renaming tab in the property.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish what I'm gonna be doing here, and then I'm gonna spend some time with you. Sounds good?
Yeah.
If you're not following what I'm doing right now, it's fine. You have the instructions there to follow, and I'm gonna give you some minutes where I can help you with. Until what time does this class go to? 11:30? No. 45?
11:35.
It's going quick. Okay, so we have this, I'm gonna apply, and okay. So what do I have here? It's my points and this contours over here. Okay, so let's check the instruction. In Prospector, right click on surfaces and create a surface. Select the type of surface seam surface and name it EG. So let's do what it asks for, and then I'm going to tell you what we're doing here. So I'm going to say create surface. I'm going to say the name of the surface, the type of the surface is going to be seam surface, and the name of the surface that I'm asking you to do is EG. So the name of the surface over here, we're going to say EG. What does EG stand for? What do you think?
Existing ground.
Existing ground. And the description of this, I want it to be existing ground. Okay? Existing ground. And I want the style of it, of the surface, to be no display. What do you think a style of no display does? It doesn't display. It's whatever it says, right? So we are creating a surface that it's not going to display anything. Once I hit OK here, I'm going to have this plus sign over here, and I'm going to have this surface over here. This surface, as of now, it's an empty surface. Even if I choose a style that displays it, it will not display anything because we didn't put any information inside of the surface. What type of information can we put inside of surfaces to do it to us? We can put contour lines, we can put points, we can put borders. Okay, these will help us create a surface. So I do have some points, I do have some contours that can help us create the surface. So let's follow the instruction. In here, I'm going to say Open Layer Properties Manager and make layer OG North current. Turn off all other layers by right-clicking in OG North and select all but current and turn them off. Okay? So I'm only going to leave the layer on OG North. Does that make sense? I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Layer Properties. I'm going to find OG North. I'm going to say I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I'm going to say select all but current, but I can see that, okay, here, select all but current. Oh, I need to make it current first. So OG North, current, double click, right click on this, select all but current, okay, and I'm going to turn them off. So the only layer on is OG North. Do you see here? Do you see what I did? Make it current, select all, turn everything off. What do I see here? So let's do it again. Let's do a Control Z here. Okay, I have everything on, okay? I double click on this and make this layer current. Right click on this. I want to select all layers but the current one, and I turn them on. Cool? And everything turned off except the OG norm layer, which is this one over here.
Turned off as a bulb or this?
Yeah, the light bulb. The other one I would ask to freeze, not to turn it off. Okay? So turn off all the layers, select current, click OK. Only the red contour lines should be visible. And this is what we have here. Only the contour lines visible. Okay? Now what I want to do is I want to take all of these contour lines over here and include them into the surface. Let me show you a different way of how I would do this myself. If I do Control Z over here, I have all the layers on. Do you guys remember a layer command called lay ISO? Yeah? So look what I would do. I would do lay ISO, I would do settings off, and I would select the contours over here, and say enter. Everything is off except the contours. I think this is easier than going to the layer property manager, selecting current and everything. But you can do whatever you want. Both will give you the same information. How do we add this into here? Do you see that if I go under definition of my surface, I have an option called contours. These contours over here, I can add these into that. How do I do that? I'm gonna expand EG, right click in contours, and I'm gonna say add, and I'm gonna select weighting factors here. So check this out. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna select all of this over here. I'm gonna select and say add. I can add a description, but I don't need. But the weighting factors that I want to use here is 2, and this is just for precision, okay? The angle, I want it to be 1, and the distance over here I'm going to leave 100, and the mid-ordinate distance I'm going to choose 0.25. What am I changing on these numbers here? I'm going to get these contours that as of now they are lines, and they're going to become a surface, and I'm just telling what is the precision that I want AutoCAD to create these contours with, okay? So I'm going to say OK in here, and what I have now, do you see this little dot over here? This tells me that the contours that are here have been added into the surface that we created. Why am I not seeing anything? I just created something in the surface, but I don't see any surface here. Why? Does anyone remember? How did we, no, even if I go layer on ISO, if I bring back all the layers, I don't see anything.
Change the scale?
No?
It's not a problem with each other.
Huh?
It's not a problem with each other.
No? It would be, but you still see it. What is the style that we selected for the surface? No display. So that's why we're not seeing, because of the style of that surface is no display. Let's see if it is true. If I go to surface properties over here, you see the surface style, no display, that's why we're not seeing. And it's okay, we don't want to see it right now. We're going to leave it like that. But just to understand that AutoCAD is doing something on the background, we're just not displaying, okay? As of now, we have this. We have the contours, we added it there, everything is good. Save your drawing, so I'm going to save because I want to give a good example. I'm going to go here, save, I save that. Now I want to add another thing, which are the points. Remember that we created the points? Now I want to add the points. Now I want to add a point group over here, the existing ground point. So I'm going to click on this, I'm going to say add, and I'm going to add existing ground points, and I'm going to say apply, and I'm going to say okay. Do you see this little dot over here? It means that the point group has been added. Again, why I do not see anything? Because I'm on display. Yeah. Now we need to create a boundary for this. And this is where you guys are going to take most of your time on this module over here. We need to create a polyline that goes around the entire drawing and specifying, okay, these are the limits that I want to do this drawing. Okay? So what you have to do is you're going to go with PL. Do you remember the command PL, polyline? And you're going to click in every end of contour over here. Okay? And this is kind of easy, but the main problem will be when you reach, you're going to go around, blah, 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 but when you get here, imagine that I clicked on all the contours, okay? I'm not doing perfectly fine, but you will. I have to click in every node here. Yes?
You're going to change the layer though?
We're going to create a new layer, I think. It's called C-Team Boundary, okay? For this line that we're going to create. If you create the line as I did in the wrong layer, you can always change the layer of the line later, okay? I just want to give you an example of what needs to be done. Now, why I cannot select this point over here? Why it doesn't show me the node? Okay, so in here, I need to turn on this thing called node. So now I can see the node, and I'm going to go in every point. At the end of this, look, at the end of this, you're going to have a polyline that is going to go around here, blah, 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 blah. It froze on me. You're going to have a polyline over here that will go around all of these points over here until the end, one closed polyline. So you cannot make a mistake here, okay? It's one polyline. If you make a mistake and you make two polylines, what can you do to fix it? You can join it, right? You can, and if it doesn't join, you can just de-edit. Because you're snapping the node of the point, you might have to flatten the line after because you might have some elevation, okay? And you don't want to have elevation in that time. Anyways, you're going to be doing this, boom, 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 and you're going to go all around. I'm not going to do it because you know how to do that, and I'm going to lazy. But once you've done that, you're going to select the line, and you're going to right-click on boundaries, and you're going to add the line as a boundary. So we added three features into our surface. We added contour lines, we added the point group that we imported into AutoCAD, and we added the boundary that we created. Is that clear so far? Yeah? Let's look. I'm not going to add the boundary, but let's look if it's something happened over here. Okay? So green boundary. Here if it's not closed, I'm giving you some instructions of how to close it. If join doesn't work, you can read this later. I'm going to add the boundary in here. Now, I want to create a new display for this surface. Okay, so I have some options of how to, if I go into the surface profile over here, I have some options of how I want to display the surface. Do you see? But I want to create a new way of displaying a surface other than no display. The same thing that we did for points. I want to do for this surface over here. Sound good? So how can I do that? I can go to settings over here, and if you see we are in Prospector, if I go to settings, I can see surface, and I can see surface styles, and I can see all the styles that AutoCAD has so far in here. What I want to do is I want to right click on contours, 1 meter and 5 meters background. So let's see, 1 meter and 5 meter background. You see this one over here? And I want to copy this into a new style. So I'm going to say copy, and the name of this I'm going to change to 0.5 to 2.5. Okay, and I'm going to say background, so I'm going to delete the copy. What do you think I might change here? Before it was 1 and 5, now I'm changing to 0.5 and 2.5. What do you think I might change here, these numbers? As of now, it's just the name, but what do you think this will change?
Elevation difference.
There's no each contour. You'll display each single parameter.
It's the interval of the contours. So you can have contours at every meter. So for example, we have elevation 220, 221, 222. You could set a configuration to show contour every meter. Or you could set a configuration to show contour every half meter. So you're going to have more contours. So what we're changing here is the interval of the contours. So to create this style, like copy a style that already exists, that was 1 and 5, and I'm changing it to 0.5 and 2.5. Does that make sense? Now, as of now, I just changed the name. This doesn't change the interval. I still need to change the interval. How do I do that? In the dialog box that it opens, go to interior and the background, then the design style. Okay. Formation, change the name. Now, on the contours tab over here, I have contour intervals. You see here? If I click here, I'm gonna have the minor and the major. Before the name of this, how was it? 1 and 5. Now what is the name? So how am I gonna change here? 0.5 and 2.5. It comes automatically here for you. Okay? I'm gonna say apply. I'm gonna say okay. What I did is I just created a new style. I didn't select this style for the surface that I had. I just went into settings and said, AutoCAD, I want a new style of contours that I previously don't have, and I changed it based on one style there. Now look what this does. When I go back to my surface over here, on Prospector, I go to my surface, e.g., surface properties, that style will be showing here right now because I created that style. Before we do this, I need to freeze some layers, okay? So freeze the following layers. Sun, snowflake icon, OG North, OG South, vNode, and vNode text. So look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to layer properties over here, and I'm gonna type OG North, and OG South. This is the current layer, so I cannot freeze it. So let me change the current layer. I'm gonna select layer 0. I'm gonna go OG. I'm gonna freeze this, and I'm gonna freeze this. I freeze OG North and OG South, okay? I'm also gonna freeze vNode, so v-node. vNode, this one over here. And I'm also gonna vNode text, and I might have to expand this to see. Do you see here vNode text? I'm gonna freeze this. So why did I do this? Because the ground data that I have here, what did I freeze? I freeze the contours, and I also freeze the points. Why did I do that? Because the surface when I display right now is gonna overlap those things. It's gonna be an actual dynamic surface, okay? So check this out. If I go here, e.g. now, surface properties, and I say contour 0.5 meters and 2.5 meters, I can say apply, and I can say okay, and now I have this thing over here that it's actually a surface of my terrain. Does that make sense? Now I can go here, and I can select the surface over here. I can right click object viewer, and I can even look at the surface in 3D. So if I say realistic, I can see this. Now I don't quite see it well because it's a very large site and the elevations don't change that much. But you can see that you have a small hill over here and everything. I can also, this is what you have to do, so don't follow me right now anymore. But you can also change the way you see this one over here to contours and triangles, and you would be able to see in a different format as well. For example, if I change the style, I would see the triangles over here. These contours, guys, they are created with the thing called the line-wide triangle. Have you guys heard of that? Yeah. So there was this guy over here called Delamay, Boris Delamay, actually, instead of Delamay. And he created this mathematical options as of, if you have a lot of elevations over here, a lot of points, and if you want to create a representation of how the ground of these elevations look like, you can create triangles within these points, and they have to look like each other the most. It will be the best representation of the real site out there. Does that make sense? You kind of understand? So if I have these points over here, and I create this triangle over here, and I try to create the most similar triangle with this one over here, within my points it's pretty bad, but I'm going to try to do it. So I have this triangle over here, and I have this triangle over here, and I have this triangle over here, and I start creating triangulation over here. It will create how the surface of my terrain will look like. This is more university stuff, we don't really need to get into that detail, but this is what the software is doing on the background, and the software optimizes this for you. When I was in university, we had to do this by hand, so we had a huge paper with a lot of points, and we had to create the most similar triangles as possible. It's terrible, because we cannot see similar triangles right away, like it demands a lot of practice, but the software is doing that for you on the background. So you really don't have to worry about this. It's just an extra that you can tell people that you know about your sound smart. Okay? So this is what happened. If you want to read more about it, Google has a lot of information. You don't really need to know, but this is what's happening in there. Also, another thing that I can do is if I draw a line over here, okay, and I select this line over here, and I say, how do I do that? Oh, let me see the instructions because I forgot. We can do a quick profile. I'm gonna leave this for next class because we're finishing now, but I want to do a quick profile to show you. This is how you're gonna look at the end. Points, profile, I can say quick profile. Okay, so check this out. If I have a line over here, okay, this line crosses here. If I go to profile and I say quick profile, and I select this line and I say OK, and I click here, it automatically created how the profile of this terrain looks like if I put here. If I change this line over here to here, it will change this way. If I change it here to here, this is how the terrain looks like. So remember that we did this, we would create points and we would drag lines and we would connect the dots. This is automatic. You just drag this line over here and it automatically changes how the profile looks like. So you can see how the existing ground looks like based on this. Okay? Isn't that cool? Guys, there is lots more, but this is what we can cover today. Sorry if I spoke too much, but this is going to be the base of the class, okay? I'm thirsty right now. I'm going to save this. You guys save it as well. If you missed anything, it's fine.